Since your retirement account is so significant to you, I would like to share with you a concept called the stretch IRA. This is a great way to make the most of your retirement account. To make any good decision, it is important to know the big picture issues that are going to affect that decision. This big picture involves the U.S. retirement market. There are more than $11 trillion in tax-deferred retirement accounts today. The estimated tax burden is $4 trillion. The General Accounting Office of our federal government is already providing income projections to the administration on how much they plan to collect from these retirement accounts. Your retirement account will be exposed to substantial taxes. The good news is there is something you can do about it. I spend a lot of my time educating my clients about this stretch IRA concept because it allows us to do a few things. It allows us to substantially reduce the taxes that you are currently paying on your retirement account. We're able to dramatically increase the value of your retirement account so the money is there when you really need it. We can ultimately leave 2 to 3 times as much money to your children or 3 to 4 times as much to your grandchildren, and keep the power of tax deferral working to its greatest advantage. Nearly everyone I talk to finds these ideas appealing. What do you think? Everyone asks me, so what makes these ideas possible? The IRS has recently made substantial changes to the tax law, making it easier to set up and pass on a retirement account to your heirs. The new distribution requirements have been reduced by as much as 70%. For example, on the old system, for a client age 70 and a half, the required minimum distribution would have been $12,500 on an IRA valued at $100,000. The new distribution required under the new rules is only $3,649. That lower required distribution reduces your taxes every year. Can you see how that leaves more money in your retirement account? Over the years, this will make a big impact on how much you will have for yourself and for your family. Now I'd like to show you a few more details about what makes this opportunity happen. There's 2 primary tables used to drive the stretch IRA opportunity. The first table is called the Uniform Distribution Table. It's used by you and your spouse to calculate required distributions when you reach age 70 and a half. The second table is called the Beneficiary Life Expectancy Table, and it's utilized by non-spousal beneficiaries of the individual retirement account. The beneficiary's required distribution is based upon this table. Knowing these tables to use is not enough. There are many challenges that can stand in the way of accomplishing the goals we set forth earlier. One challenge to accomplishing these goals is the calendar. I call it avoiding the December 31st effect. Why is December 31st important to you and to your IRA? The answer is, it is the account value from December 31st of the prior year that determines your required distribution amount for this year. When can December 31st work against you? When your IRA is tied directly to market performance, stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. Whether your assets are tied up in the market or not, it is very important that you understand this impact as you begin taking required distributions each year. Let's look at a real-world example for a 71-year-old IRA owner with an IRA valued at $100,000 on December 31st of 2001. Based on the uniform distribution table we've talked about, this would require a 2002 distribution of $3,773.58. Now, most people elect to take their distributions in the fourth quarter of any year. In this example, the IRA owner executed their distribution in November. This is because they had received a reminder from their financial institution to take their distribution at that time. In this example, the November 1, 2002 value would now be $78,500. Now, in spite of this loss in the market value, the distribution remains the same, $3,773.58, because it is based on a value from the past. This further reduces the account value to $74,726.42. Can you see how volatility negatively affects this IRA owner? Even if the market now rebounds, their distribution does not have the opportunity, and taxes have also been incurred. On the last page, we saw how $100,000 was reduced to $74,726.42 after the distribution. Let's compare that performance to a traditional fixed interest rate of 5% during the same period. If the same client had $100,000 on December 31st earning 5%, their IRA would now have a value of $104,245 on November 1st. The required distribution would remain the same as in the earlier example, $3,773.58. The difference is substantial. After their distribution, their balance would be $100,471.42 compared to $74,726.42. My philosophy is that during times of distribution, you should be in an asset that is not exposed to market risk. Instead, it should be safe and secure. Doesn't that make sense to you? To make the most of this strategy, there are a few rules to live by. They're actually quite simple, but when they are overlooked, the outcome can become quite different. The first rule is make your spouse the primary beneficiary. This allows your spouse to roll over the IRA to their name, treating it as their own IRA. The required minimum distribution is then based on your spouse's life expectancy when they inherit the IRA from you. Rule number 2 is watch out for the oldest beneficiary. The new regulations require that your designated beneficiaries make the required distribution based on the one with the shortest life expectancy. This also can accelerate distributions and increase taxes. Make sure that the company you work with is properly structured to manage multiple beneficiary designations. It's called using the separate accounts rule. This rule allows each beneficiary to take required distributions based on their individual life expectancies. This means that each beneficiary receives the maximum value over the longest period of time. Doesn't that sound good? When it comes to your taxes, accuracy is really important. Rule number 3 says to make sure that your distribution is accurate. Avoid the 50% penalty. That's right, there's a 50% fine assessed for non-compliance added on top of your ordinary income taxes. The companies we work with are fully experienced in this area, and they routinely make required distributions to thousands of clients. In addition, as distribution tables become more attractive in the future, they can make sure you take full advantage. Another important benefit is that there are no charges made for accurately calculating these distributions as they occur each year. Now, is that true of your current financial institution? Let me show you a typical example of how this would work for an average family. Let's assume a current IRA account value of $100,000, a current interest rate of 5.25%. The client is age 72, their spouse is slightly younger at age 70, and they've got two beneficiaries, their son who's age 40, who they want to leave 50% of their value to, and their grandson who's age 10, that they want to leave the other half to. Now, assuming that each individual achieves their normal life expectancy, The total amount distributed to the owner and their spouse is $115,009. The total received by the 40-year-old son is $83,093, and the total received by the 10-year-old grandson is $213,416 due to his longer life expectancy. Remember, this came from a $100,000 IRA. This surprises a lot of people. Can you see how this benefits the family in the long run? I always love showing people this next slide. Starting with an initial IRA value of $100,000, the total potential distribution utilizing the stretch IRA concept drove the family up to $411,518 in total value. Now that's a tremendous amount of benefit that's available by properly structuring your plan and using a safe, secure instrument to do it with. Many people ask if they can take advantage of this concept with other retirement accounts. The answer is absolutely. Once you have retired, it is quite simple to convert your existing retirement account into an IRA and then begin using the stretch strategy. Another thing to consider is the key ages that affect IRAs. Outside of a few exceptions, any money you withdraw prior to age 59 and a half could be subject to a 10% excise tax over and above the ordinary income taxes. Once you pass age 70 and a half, you are required to take distributions and begin paying some taxes. Remember, our strategy minimizes this burden to you. Some experts have referred to an individual retirement account as a tax time bomb, and the stretch IRA is your opportunity to really diffuse that tax time bomb. Protecting your money at this stage in your life is very important. Here are some things to think about. Do you want to reduce your taxes on your IRA? Can you benefit from these new minimum distribution tables? Do you want to continue tax-deferred accumulation for as long as possible? Could your heirs benefit from this concept? Think about who you really want your beneficiaries to be, and what percentages do you wish them to receive? We can gather all your records, and this will help us gain a better understanding of your current position while comparing it to your actual needs and your desires. And finally, we'd like to have you allow us to structure a safe, prudent, and powerful stretch IRA for you today.